The Aeternum Institute, Orientation Protocol 7G. Welcome to the Aeternum Institute's Orientation for Standard Subject Evaluation. In this session, we will cover baseline neural function assessment and data collection. Please ensure all results are logged promptly and accurately. Deviation will be noted. Hi there, and welcome to this instructional video, where you will be learning how to perform an SSEP, or a Standard Subject Evaluation Protocol. I will be walking you through the 4 steps necessary to complete the evaluation, showing you which tools to use, how to use them, and which notes to fill in as you go. Pay close attention, because filling out the forms correctly is essential. Subjects may present with a range of responses, and therefore record keeping is of the utmost importance. We're going to look at the following 4 medical examinations. The first one is pupillary reflex. This should be nothing new to you, and prior training should come in handy here. The second is a brief hearing test. The third is an olfactory test. We're interested in what our subjects can smell. And finally, a facial sensation test. You will find that you have a standard issue kit, and in there will be all of the information that you need. If you have any questions, now would be the time to pause this video and speak to the person who has been assigned to you for this orientation. Remember that this evaluation is a crucial part of our ongoing research. You are that important to the Institute. If you're ready, then let's begin. We begin with pupillary reflex, and this is a standard light reflex assessment. Take a look in your kit and take out your pen light. If it isn't there, speak to the person designated to you at orientation. Feel free to pause this video while you find it. Once you have it, you press the button at the top to switch it on, like so. And then you will see a light. Take a look. Make sure that light is there. Remembering your training prior to joining us, what we're going to do is we are going to shine this into each eye in turn, coming in firstly from your right and then secondly from your left. Hold up your pen light and see if you can do it in time with this instructional video. Ready? How did you do? If you weren't able to keep time, or were too fast or too slow, then please rewind this video and continue to practice until we have a similar speed. Next, we're going to take the light, move it further away and closer to the subject. Once again, practice with me. Ready? Closer to the subject, and then further away, so that you can monitor the pupillary response. Again, closer, and further away, and closer, and further away. Moving to the other eye. Closer, and further away. Closer, and further away. Closer, and further away. Again, if you were roughly in time with me, continue on. If not, please rewind this video and practice some more. Finally, and if it feels safe to do so, nice and close, and you need to quickly introduce the light into each eye before taking it out again. Once again, on the subject's right, and then on their left. Only if it feels safe. Ready? With me. Taking the time to note pupillary response. All the time, monitoring your surroundings, your safety is our number one priority. Once again, check that the speed was similar. If not, rewind this video and practice a little more. If that's all done, switch off the pen light, once again using the button at the top, and then straight to your clipboard. You will see the section at the top which says Pupillary Reflex. And there is the place where you will write down your notes. Anything that is ordinary must be noted. Anything that is a little out of the ordinary must also be noted. If the pupil dilates before exposure, discontinue the session. Next is the standard hearing test. We're looking for some normal auditory recognition. Take a look in your kit and you will find a tuning fork, like so, and something with which to strike it. Get them from your kit now. If they're missing, speak to the person assigned to you at orientation. What we're going to do now is strike the tuning fork and place it in front of your subject's ears, one at a time, and ask them what they can hear. There's no need to pick up the clipboard until the end. So, take a moment to practice striking the tuning fork. Not too hard, not too soft. You don't want to be hurting the subject's ears, but nor do you need them craning to hear it. Try again. Ready? If you struggle with the volume, please pause the video, and we can come back once you are proficient in the tuning fork. Once proficient, we will begin with this ear. Strike the tuning fork, and if it feels safe to do so, place it next to the subject's ear. Ready? Once you can no longer hear the sound, retrieve the tuning fork and make sure all resonance has ceased. Then the same with the other ear. Ready? Once again, when you can no longer hear the sound, retrieve the tuning fork and make sure there is no sound. What you need to do next is pretend to strike the fork and place it next to each ear and ask the subject if they can hear it. As follows. Wait a reasonable amount of time before you retrieve the fork. Act as it were before. Other side. Same again. Ready? Do not answer any questions being asked at this point. Again, wait a reasonable amount of time before retrieving the fork. And those motions again of stopping any sound. Do this as many times as you feel necessary. Once you've done that, it's time to pick up the clipboard. Make any notes about anything the subject says about hearing the sounds. This should be a fairly neutral process. However, if the subject does exhibit recognition on the silent part of the test, then discontinue the test immediately. If you're ready and comfortable with this step, let's move on to step 3. Next, we're going to take a look at olfactory reactions. Take a look in your kit and you will find 3 scent bottles. Retrieve them all. You will also find 3 cotton pads. Please retrieve those as well. If you find some are missing or not there at all, please speak to the person assigned to you on orientation. The first bottle we're going to use is marked floral. Take the bottle marked floral and one of the cotton pads, and you're going to use the dropper to put some of the scent on the cotton pad, like so. Here. You are then, if it feels safe to do so, to just put this underneath the subject's nose and ask them to inhale deeply, like so, and ask them to tell you what it is they can smell. So, with me, take the dropper and the cotton pad. This one can be at your own pace, and 3 or 4 drops onto the cotton pad. Be prepared to then place it under the nose of your subject. Good. Next, your second bottle is marked citrus. A wonderful scent, I think you'll agree. Once you have this bottle, Do the same with me again. 3 or 4 drops on the pad. That is all that is necessary, as these are particularly expensive scents, to ensure we get the correct results. Once again, when you're ready, under the nose. Great. Your final bottle of the 3 is labelled static, and we are particularly interested in the subject's response to this one. Once again, cotton pad. This one has a particularly pungent smell, so prepare yourself. Several drops. If you haven't smelt this before, take the time to really take that in. It's something that might surprise a lot of our subjects. When you've composed yourself, practice giving that a little wave under the imaginary nose. All good. Wonderful. If there are some on your hands, feel free to pause the video and go and wash it off. There will be somebody there to help you. Time to grab that clipboard. You will be issued with an Aeternum Institute standard clipboard, so don't worry. Make a note under the smell test section of anything you found normal, anything you found a little abnormal. If the subject exhibits recognition to the scent marked static, then you need to update the file to category R immediately and contact your supervisor. Finally, facial sensation. Facial sensation is an integral part of the standard subject evaluation protocol, and one that you must complete particularly carefully, as it can give us the biggest hints yet into our research. Take a look into that standard issue kit, and you will find one of these. It's a simple stick with soft feathers on the end. If it's missing, broken, anything like that, speak to the person assigned to you at orientation and they will be able to help you. Got the stick. Fantastic. What you will do with your subject is touch certain areas of their face with either the feathered end or the stick end. Very, very gently. We do not want to cause alarm or annoyance. Remember to keep this away from the delicate eye area. We are talking the forehead, the cheeks, the nose, and the chin. This is sufficient for what we need. Begin by explaining to the subject what you're going to do, and if it feels safe, begin. So, as I showed you just then, you will be reaching out, keeping your fingers at the end of the stick, the forehead, each cheek, the nose, and the chin. In one long swipe, or little pats. One long swipe. One long swipe, little pats, one long swipe, little and then the same with the other end. Reassure the subject that this is not sharp. It is simply a different sensation to the feathers. So, again, like so, or like so. The cheek, pat, pat, pat. The other cheek, pat, pat, pat. The nose, and the chin. If you haven't already, please try this on yourself so that you will be able to empathize with your subject when they're telling you what it is that they've felt. Feel free to pause this video whilst you perform the necessary checks upon yourself. Once done, it is time to once again pick up that clipboard and reassure your subject that we are almost at the end of the protocol. Remember, if at any point you felt any resistance beneath the epidermis, then you must proceed with preliminary containment measures immediately. However, if not, if it felt completely normal, then feel free to make the appropriate notes. And now, if you look to the bottom of your clipboard, you will see a section called Final Assessment. It may say Subject Classification, and that's where we begin documentation. Is that not on your clipboard? Tell me, are you experiencing any discomfort? Have you been exposed to any frequencies that were not pleasant? Tell me, how was that static? Did it feel funny? Did it smell funny? Well, I am particularly grateful to you for attending the standard subject evaluation protocol today. You were indeed a wonderful subject. Please remain still. The person assigned to you on orientation will be with you shortly to take you to another part of the facility. Thank you for attending the Aeternum Institute. Have a great day. The Aeternum Institute, the next step in human understanding.